We are treating this as a strict historical investigation. We are putting aside the myths, ignoring the rumors, and looking directly at the reality of a fallen empire in April 1945. To understand the end, you have to see the beginning. Between 1939 and 1941, the German military swallowed up Poland, Norway, and France. At that moment, the regime appeared unstoppable. But the momentum shattered. 3 massive blows brought the expansion to a dead stop. First, the Allied bombing campaign hollowed Germany out from the inside, leveling factories, severing rail lines, and crippling their ability to produce fuel. Then came 1944. Allied troops spilled onto the beaches of Normandy, forcing Hitler into a sprawling, exhausting war on 2 opposing fronts. The empire the world once feared was bleeding out. By early 1945, the military structure was fractured, setting the stage for total collapse. This map shows the situation in January 1945. Germany's borders were rapidly collapsing inward, shrinking the territory they actually controlled by the day. In the east, the Soviet Red Army was tearing through Warsaw and Budapest, advancing at a speed that put them within striking distance of Berlin. At the exact same time, American, British, and Canadian forces breached the Rhine River in the west and poured into German territory. For the first time, the capital of the Third Reich faced the immediate threat of being surrounded by advancing armies on both sides. As the borders shrank, terrified civilians fled the front lines. Thousands of refugees were funneled straight into the already failing capital, looking for safety that didn't exist. This geographic contraction created an inescapable pressure cooker, squeezing the remnants of a dying nation into one single point on the map. Inside Berlin, the living conditions were apocalyptic. By April, the electricity was dead, the water lines were severed, and basic food supplies had vanished. There is a common belief that Hitler still had a massive, highly functional military machine ready to defend the city to the last man. The truth is, he was commanding a paper army. The divisions listed on official documents had been decimated in the field. To fill the ranks, veteran soldiers were replaced by untrained civilians and teenagers. Look at this heavy tank sitting abandoned in the rubble. A total logistical collapse left the military paralyzed. Without fuel, their remaining tanks were useless steel boxes, and the Air Force was permanently grounded. Civilians and soldiers alike were subjected to near-constant aerial bombardment, day and night, with virtually zero opposition from the ground. By April 1945, the Nazi military machine was a bureaucratic illusion, leaving the capital structurally broken and its centralized defense in ruins. With the city completely surrounded and the army hollowed out, we have to ask, why did Hitler choose to stay in Berlin when escape was still an option? His generals actually proposed a viable escape plan. They wanted to relocate command by retreating to the Alps in southern Germany to mount a final resistance. Hitler flatly rejected the idea. He claimed that abandoning the capital would instantly shatter whatever national morale was left. But historians point to a darker reality. He had become detached from the actual state of the war, waiting on an impossible military intervention that was never coming. As hostile armies closed the distance and the city above burned to the ground, he had only one direction left to retreat, beneath the earth. The investigation now shifts to the final hours inside the claustrophobic darkness of the Führer bunker with Eva Braun and Joseph Goebbels on April 30th. Subscribe for Chapter 2.